Weren't you on the British diving team?
I was on the British team for almost 10 years. It was a silly thing. I got
Hey everyone, imagine this. A little boy stands on a cold street in a small
into it really late to be, efficient in any kind of international sport.
town, selling cheap perfume to strangers who barely look at him. His hands are red from the wind, his shoes have holes, and his stomach growls louder than the cars passing by. That boy grows up to punch through walls, drive cars off cliffs, and become one of the toughest guys in movies. But at 58 years old, his story isn't just about winning. It's about all the quiet hurts he carries inside. This is the heartbreaking truth about Jason Statham, the man who seems unbreakable but has been broken more times than we know. Let me take you back to where it all started. Jason was born on July 26, 1967, in a little place called Sheerbrook in Derbyshire, England. The town was full of coal dust and hard work. His mom, Eileen, was a dancer who twirled on stages but came home tired. His dad, Barry, did whatever it took to put food on the table. He worked in mines, painted houses, sold stuff on the street, and even sang in pubs at night. Their home was small, with just one light bulb swinging over the kitchen table. Jason and his big brother Lee learned early that life wasn't fair. They helped their dad sell jewelry and bottles of scent in busy markets. People walked by fast, not caring about a kid trying to make a few coins. Jason once said his dad taught him to do a handstand before he could even walk properly. It was fun, but it was really about learning balance in a world that kept knocking you down. School wasn't Jason's favorite thing. While other kids played soccer, he found something that made his heart race: diving. He started jumping into pools when he was 12, way later than most pros who begin at 5. He trained at a big sports center in London called Crystal Palace. Every day after everyone left, he'd stay in the cold water, climbing the board again and again. His hands got raw, his body ached, but he didn't stop. The pool was quiet, and that quiet taught him to keep going even when no one clapped. In 1990, he got to dive for England at the Commonwealth Games. It was a big deal, jumping from 10 meters high in front of crowds. For a second, it looked like the Olympics might happen. But in 1992, he missed the team by just one spot. All those years of cold water and sore muscles gone like a splash that disappears. He didn't yell or cry. He just stared at the calm pool and felt the silence sink in. That moment hurt deep, like losing a best friend. But it made him tougher inside. He learned that trying hard doesn't always win, but giving up loses everything. Life didn't wait for him to feel better. Jason left diving and hit the tough streets of London. No job, no money, just survival. He sold perfumes, watches, little things on corners where rain soaked everything. Some days people threw stuff back at him, mad that it wasn't real. He'd pick it up without a word because stealing wasn't his way. Nights were spent in cheap rooms with leaky windows, eating beans from a can or a sandwich gone soft. He'd wake up cold, pull on his old coat, and think, one more day. In the dark, he'd do push-ups in shadow box, fighting invisible enemies. No one saw, but it kept his fire alive. Dignity, he said later, isn't about what you own. It's about what you won't let go of, even when you're down to nothing. Then something small changed everything. While training at the sports center, a guy from a modeling agency spotted him. Jason had that real look, face marked by hard times, not pretty like magazine boys. Soon he was in ads for big brands like Tommy Hilfiger and Levi's. The pay wasn't huge, but it was honest. Between photos, he still hustled on streets. He'd chuckle about it, calling himself a hustler who stayed alive. But deep down, those days built his bones strong. One day, a director named Guy Ritchie needed aerial street guy for his movie Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Jason met him through modeling friends. He didn't act fancy. He just told stories of London life, deals in alleys, rain on his face. Guy listened and said, "You're it. You don't act, you've lived it." The movie came out in 1998, and boom, the world saw Jason at 31. His tough, quiet way stole scenes. It only paid a little, but it was gold. The streets that ignored him now put his name in lights. 2 years later, Snatch with Brad Pitt. Jason played Turkish, funny and fierce. The movie made tons of money, and red carpets welcomed the kid from Shirebrook. But he still remembered counting coins for dinner. In 2002, the transporter hit. Jason trained crazy hard in martial arts like kickboxing. He did his own stunts, no doubles. Got hurt bad, ribs bruised, ligaments torn. Mornings, his hands shook tying shoes. But he said if it hurts, at least it's real. Crank in 2005 was wild, full of non-stop action. He filmed movie after movie, flying everywhere, sleeping little. Success was loud, but inside it started to feel heavy. Not everything worked. Revolver flopped hard, critics hated it. Friendship with Guy strained. Other films bombed too. Hollywood whispered he might be done. But Jason fought back. The bank job in 2008 was smart and gritty, made good money. Then The Expendables with big stars like Stallone. He wasn't looking up anymore, he was one of them. Fast and Furious 7 was huge, billions earned. He played the bad guy you kinda like. The Meg swam to over 500 million. At 51 he ruled action, but he wanted more than explosions. He joked about superheroes, saying anyone in a cape could do it. Heck lived real stories, but typecasting kept him in fights. Behind the Winds, love hurt the most. First, Kelly Brook, beautiful model and TV star. They met when he was climbing. She saw the real him before fame. London nights, simple food, big laughs. When movies took him away, distance grew. She left for someone else. Jason went quiet, trained harder to bury the pain. No bad words, just young love that faded. Then Sophie Monk, fun Australian singer. She brought light, popcorn fights on couches. But tours and films pulled them apart. Ended soft, no fight. She said he was hard to love because he held everything inside. Alex Zoman next. Calm and kind. Mornings with coffee, no rush. But his schedule was brutal, gone months. They parted like ships passing. At 43, Rosie Huntington Whiteley changed it all. Young model with gentle eyes. They laughed over coffee, walked in rain. Engaged in 2016, son Jack in 2017. Jason held the baby and melted. Daughter Isabella in 2022. He missed first steps for work, watched birthdays on phones. It stung worse than falls. Now in London, family first. Privacy is their shield. He watches them sleep. Fears losing this peace he fought for. But danger followed. In 2011, Expendables 2 set. A young stuntman Kun Liu died in an explosion gone wrong. Jason saw the smoke, heard the silence. It broke something. He honors the lost quietly. Worse in 2013, Paul Walker, friend from Fast Family. Car crash after charity. Jason stood at memorial, tears hidden. Every engine roar now echoes Paul. Body paid too. Decades of stunts left pain everywhere. Spine tight, joints sore. In 2014, Expendables 3, truck brakes failed, plunged into Black Sea. Water-filled cab, door stuck. He kicked out, swam up gasping. Stallone said no one else survives. Jason showed up next day, quiet. Fear lives there now. At 58, silver in hair, aches constant. Trains daily, eats clean. Worth over 120 million. Homes in Beverly Hills, Malibu sold big. Cars like Aston Martin. But he gives to kids in sports, remembers streets, Jason's tragedy. He won everything but paid with loneliness, loss, pain. From hungry boy to legend, he bleeds under the armor. His story whispers, keep rising, even when it hurts. If this touched you, if Jason's grit inspires like this video, share with friends who need hope. Subscribe for more real stories. Let's honor the man who turned tears into triumphs. See you next time.